Brought to you by Gamevo.com. Get the cheapest game time on the market, as well as other Warcraft products. Check out the link in the description below. So, on one side you have the humans, and on the other you have their Kul'Tiran neighbors that are nearly twice their size. Not just in height, but in weight as well, as they're significantly larger and bulky. What is the origin of the Kul'Tiran humans, and why exactly are they so much bigger than the rest of the race that they can almost be classified as a different species? We definitely know the origin of the original humans. Long ago, they were the vrykul that escaped Northrend together with the Titan Keeper Tyr, and over time with the Curse of Flesh they de-evolved into the race that we have today, plus the discarded vrykul children survived from Northrend and joined, although this bit is a bit more confusing. We also know the origin of the Kul'Tirans, at least Kul'Tirans as a kingdom. Some 2700 years ago, the humans decided to water down their hegemony from Erator, and the humans that had settled in Gilneas decided to also explore the nearby areas. The boldest and the strongest of the sailors discovered the very rich island and had settled there, originally just with a maritime outpost that they would later name Kul'Tiras. Over time, however, the expedition would expand and they would build new cities and would essentially become a kingdom of their own. Now, there would be one major problem with this, on first glance, gold mine of an island. It was the home to the Drust, the seafaring vrykul, who sometime after the Sundering had reached Kul'Tiras and had also settled there and had lived there for thousands of years. We don't really know much about the Drust and where they're actually from originally, but as they traveled via ships to raid and expand, it is likely that they were warriors, and seeing that essentially all vrykul are warriors, these were the warriors among the warriors. The Drust have been on the island for thousands of years at that point and were already established, and they weren't exactly looking to live in harmony with the puny humans, even though the humans preferred it that way and they wanted to keep the peace at all costs. As all vrykul, the Drust were gigantic, powerful, although a bit more mystical, druidic, and kinda dark, making them a very terrifying enemy. Long story short, Gorak Tol, the king of the Drust, decided to start a massive war set on wiping out the humans, and ultimately the humans turned back the tide, won, and had wiped out the vrykul in turn. Before that happened, however, the Thorn Speakers, druidic Drust, didn't agree with the war, and now faced with an ultimatum, they decided to side with the humans, starting a connection that would change Kul'Tiras and the Kul'Tirans forever. The Drust are kind of a thing of the past, outside from spirits at this point, but my opinion is that they have mixed with the native humans. I mean, we have half-elf, half-humans in the lore, so it would totally make sense for the Drust and the humans to procreate, because if you go far in the past enough, both are actually vrykul, and both share essentially the exact same heritage. Of course, not all Kul'Tirans are actually gigantic as you might see in game. You can see regular humans even smaller than the original ones from the Eastern Kingdoms, so it is definitely not the case that only some of them are as big as we have seen. They're definitely taller on average, there is no doubt about that, but they aren't all 200 kilogram, 8 feet tall giants. This would of course make sense, as some Kul'Tirans could have vrykul genes while others have maybe fewer vrykul genes, or are just regular humans with quite ancient vrykul genes like 10,000 years in the past. Also, it makes sense as these giant humans are literally in the middle between the vrykul that are about 12 feet tall and the humans that are about 6 feet tall, so they would be around 8 to 10. All of this coupled with a lot of food that must have become a part of their culture, they might have reached their full genetic potential as opposed to their Eastern Kingdom counterparts that might have had a different diet. Additionally, as I mentioned at the start, the most daring sailors from Gilneas went on the expedition and decided to settle, and these same sailors managed to defeat the monstrosities that are the vrykul Drust, so it could also be a selection thing as well. The strongest of the humans decided to travel, the strongest fought, and those that survived procreated, spreading their genes to the current population. Now, if you know a thing or two about genetics, you know that from just a few people, nearly 3,000 years later, you can essentially have an entire new race. Now, the actual reason, the gameplay one, is that Blizzard just needed different body types, as why would anyone want to play the Kul'Tirans as an allied race if they were literally the same as the other humans, as after all, Lordaeron, Gilnean, and Stormwind humans all essentially look the same. There might be a few differences, but they're pretty much the same race, so having the big Kul'Tiran body type was a good addition to spice up the game to make it a bit more interesting as well as diverse. All in all, most of these are just my theories and none are 100% confirmed, so they're just speculations, although we do have some hints on the origin of the Kul'Tirans. Thank you for watching. Check out what would happen if Kieran won the duel against Garrosh by clicking on the screen, and check out Dorons Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.